Good evening all. I have had an absolute nightmare with my computer over the last few days, so apologies for the delay in getting this second episode of my Spindatt trasherbash build over to you. In this one, I was mainly smashing away with some PVC pipe to act as a crown race installer. Hitting it with a hammer didn't work. So I basically had to resort to putting it onto the steerer tube and then turning the fork upside down and hitting that onto the ground on the concrete outside. The moral of this one in a nutshell is buy a crown race installer. So yeah, that's the gist of it. But if you want to see a grown man struggle for quite a while with a crown race, then this is the video for you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm new to all this YouTube malarkey, so I think I've now got a better grip on the process of editing the videos. So hopefully there's not so many delays in the future. Stay tuned in the upcoming days for the next part, which is actually fitting the headset. Once again, I'll be using a Heath Robinson style RJ the Bike Guy-esque tool. So yeah, if you're interested in this kind of content and following along with the Spindatt trasherbash build, then please consider subscribing and hitting that bell button and giving this video a like, so that you don't miss out on the full build series. The other thing that I've got to do is somehow get the crown race on here and the headset on here. I don't actually have the proper tools for either, and I'll show you how I've been making do so far. I'll just remove the excess grease, the old grease from here, because you can see there's some of that white stuff on there. It's important that the crown race gets seated properly on the top of the fork here. We'll soon see whether I've got the right size. And that's the thing when you're doing a bike build like this, you don't really know what problem's going to run into. Yeah, there's a bit of paint coming off in that area, so I'm hoping it's localised and limited to there, that I'm going to lose paint, because I really do love this paint job, and it was the thing that attracted me to the build really. So let's find this headset. So the headset I'm using is just a Brand X, which is just a very basic headset, 1-inch threaded. Cost me £5 from Wiggle. So let's see what we've got. That looks like it's the top cup. It's just a ball bearing headset like that. That's the top cup that sits up there. That seems to go on the top. This is the bottom cup, so that's the crown race. And I don't know what this piece is, so that's really interesting. I don't know what I need that for. Maybe it sits. I have no idea. Maybe it's a washer that goes underneath there. I'll have a look on the Wiggle website before I go too far. But yeah, the first thing that I'm going to do here is put a bit of grease on the bottom of the fork steerer here. Just wipe that off. And this is my crown race. So hopefully you can see that, but it's a solid piece, and yeah, a solid piece is always generally harder to get on than one with a split in it. So as we're putting that on, there's one thing here I try and do, so try and get it level, and then up until now, because I don't have the right tool to install crown base, I've been using this piece of PVC pipe. So it's basically two different sizes of PVC pipe threaded together. So yeah, just those two slotted inside each other. The thinner one has an internal diameter that generally fits on top of the inner part of the crown base, and the outer one normally fits on the outside, but that's been with a 1 1/8 size steerer tube. So this is going to be a 1 inch, so let's see how this is going to work. Well, actually it's quite a tight fit. Okay, that's the side that I'm generally hammering, that's why it's all bent out of shape. So let's just take that off again. Yeah, and we'll try and hammer it on that way. Looks like it'll probably still be okay. So let's just get this rubber mallet and see if we can get it to go on. I don't know. It's going on one side. I'm trying to show you that on the action cam. So on this side it's going on, this side not so much. So there's obviously a bit of difference one side to the other. And this makeshift tool I have. Let's go with the mangled end down, shall we? See what happens. Yeah, this is definitely a tool I could do with, but when you don't want to buy everything straight away, you've got to put a bit of effort into it. So I'm just holding it here in the fork and hitting it. It's not really going on, not really moving. Try the metal hammer. Not really going on. We may be in trouble here. One thing I have done in the past is just take this outside and just smash it on the ground to try and get it on. So it's a bit dark outside, but I might go and do that and see if I can get it to move. Be back in a minute. this is proving to be pretty exhausting. I've not quite managed it yet. Just want to show you where I'm at with it. But yeah, definitely need the right tool for this job. So there's a bit of a wider gap on this side and a narrower gap on that side. So my plan is to just try and clean it out around it, squirt a bit of WD-40 in. I don't want to clean all the grease out, but I want to trap any of these plastic bits off the pipe that have gone into the gap here. I think maybe more grease higher up next time might be the way, but yeah, I think before I attempt a headset like this again, I'll be buying the right crown race installer tool. Actually, all the bikes I've been doing recently have had an integrated headset, so this hasn't really been an issue. But yes, it's proving an issue. It's proving to be an issue on this one, for sure. Dripping. So if I put WD-40 above and then fresh grease below, I'm so close that I don't want to give up now. I mean, I could just buy the right tool off Amazon, I suppose, but I've already invested all my budget into this bike. £545, 920 Canadian dollars. Yeah, Canadian dollars. So don't really want to do any more than that. So I want to, if I can, get away with the tools I've already got. Right, see if I can get that last bit on with it like that now. I'm just going to take it back outside the front of the house, see if I can get it to go on. It's close, it's very close. It's gone on. One big smack and it's gone on. Yeah, fortunately a few more smacks outside the front of the house and it's gone on. I don't know if you can see here, but trying to get a bit more light on the mat. But yeah, it's actually managed to go on. I'll just clear a bit of that grease off. We should be able to see that it's seated. All the grease came splurging out around it when it actually moved to the bottom into place. So yeah, that's fully seated now, which is good. One job done with the wrong tool, but it got there in the end. It's a hack I've seen on sort of RJ the Bike Guy, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you're gonna do this job, then just pay the £10 on Amazon and buy the right tool. Crown Race Installer. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of TriRealHard, and I'll see you on the next one.